She's out.
Don, could you do the roll call, please?
Yes, I can. Jerry Abrahams,
Here.
Cindy Butts, Wendy Clark,
Here.
Phil DeFranzo,
Here.
Heidi DeWeingart, Claudio Gualtieri,
Here.
Timothy Hodges,
Here.
Catherine McKinnon,
Here.
Commissioner Mascara Bruno,
Here.
Commissioner Perez,
Here.
Franklin Perry, Matt Puglisi,
Here.
Chelsea Ross,
Here.
Sarah Sanders,
Here.
Lisa Tepper Bates,
Here.
Greg Ugalde.
Present.
We do have a quorum in attendance for the meeting.
Thank you, Don. It's 10:04 and I'll call the meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is public comments. Don, you can continue with that.
Of course. I also do want to remind folks that we are live streaming and recording this meeting, and both of those have already started. This is the only opportunity on the agenda for the public to provide comments. If you would like to provide a comment, please unmute yourself and state your name. To ensure that everyone has the opportunity, comments will be limited to 3 minutes. If you are in the room, please make yourself known. Hearing no comments, the public comment period has now ended.
Thank you, Don. Next we have the CEO.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's wonderful to see everybody in the flesh, so to speak. Want to welcome you all to the last meeting of the year here at CHFA. My rain dance apparently worked, so I'm happy about that. Thank you for making the trek out here in a little bit of rain. We have a few hours. I want to keep my remarks brief because we want to get to the meeting portion of our agenda today, which is a retreat for after board. We're hoping to recap what is an outstanding year for CHFA, but also provide you a little bit of context about what may happen in the next year, what changes we might anticipate seeing, and how CHFA might pivot or respond with those changes. On a personal note, I celebrated 5 years at CHFA just a few weeks ago. Felt worthy of comment.
I don't say 10 years.
Yeah. It's like you said, commissioners need 2 years, but you know, maybe
I was a month.
yeah,
Every
something
year
like
is
that. We have come through some very challenging times, so I appreciate all of your support, your commitment to this organization. And I know I can speak for everybody here, and when I say that we feel your presence, your trust in us, in the leadership and management of this organization, and we don't take that lightly, and we appreciate it, and it is also hard earned, so we must be doing something well. So thank you for all of that, and I look forward to working with you all over the next year. So with that, I'll hand it back to you.
Congratulations. Thank you. Let's go another 5. Finance Committee, Hazin, you're going to present the resolution.
Yes. Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. For your consideration is a resolution to authorize CHFA to issue up to $325 million of housing mortgage finance program bonds in one or more issuances. The sale will allow CHFA to raise additional lending proceeds and fund about 1,300 for standby loans. As of November 8, CHFA had a net aggregate pipeline of about $320 million. Based on the interest rate environment, CHFA will utilize a fixed rate structure and expects to close the issuance in February 2025. To leverage CHFA tax exempt issuance capacity, CHFA intends to pair the tax exempt issuance with taxable bonds. CHFA also has informed RBC to lead the first financing. The resolution was presented to the Finance Committee, and the committee made observations and asked questions regarding the issuance frequency and the fixed rate bond structure. The resolution was approved unanimously by committee, and I'll be happy to answer any questions what we have regarding the resolution.
Thank you, Hazin. Can I have a motion to approve resolution presented?
Moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions?
That was Tim, Dawn.
Thank you, Tim. And
Tim
Greg,
and Brian.
thank you.
Comments or questions? Hearing none, Dawn, do I have to do roll call? Do the roll call, please. Oh, we have some.
Yeah, we have some action.
Sure. Jerry Abrahams,
Aye.
Cindy Butts, Wendy Clark,
Yes.
Phil DeFranzo,
Yes.
Heidi DeWeingart, Claudio Gualtieri,
Yes.
Timothy Hodges,
Yes.
Catherine McKinnon,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascaro Bruno,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Franklin Perry,
Yes.
Matt Puglisi,
Yes.
Chelsea Ross,
Yes.
Sarah Sanders,
Yes.
Lisa Tepper Bates,
Yes.
Greg Ugalde.
Yes.
The vote passes unanimously.
Thank you, motion carries. As in, the next, you're gonna present the resolution to adopt the 2025 budget.
Yes. So on October 31, which is the prior board meeting, we provided and presented CHFA's proposed 2025 annual budget totaling 50.3 million to the board of directors. Of the 50.3 million, 32.4 million is for salaries and benefits, 12.9 million is for ongoing general and administrative expenses, and the remaining 5 million is for capital expenses. Additional details and explanation were included in the presentation. Since we released the draft, we finalized our net earnings calculations and updated the proposed plan accordingly. We also increased the annual budget amount slightly by $50,500 to account for a higher trustee fees. Finally, we did not receive any comments from any of the board members regarding the draft budget. In summary, the 2025 operating budget is 5.5% or 2.6 million higher when compared to the 2024 budget, of which the budget for salaries and benefits, which include a 6% allocation for COLA merit, is 163,000 higher than the prior year budget. The budget for ongoing general and administrative expenses is 454,000 higher than the prior year. And the budget for capital expenses is 2 million higher than the prior year. The annual budget was discussed with Finance Committee, and the committee made observations and asked questions regarding the fringe costs, the relationship between mortgage and investment interest, program assets and operating expenses, future expectations and adjustments, relationship and assumptions behind some of the budget items. The resolution was approved unanimously by committee. With that, I respectfully request the approval of the 2025 budget totaling 50.3 million and the plan of operation as described here. I'll be happy to answer any questions about the resolution.
Yes, and I have, we have a motion.
So
moved. And I have a second.
I'll second.
Questions, comments, especially for those board members that they're not on the finance committee. Now that you're on the finance committee, comments, especially those that don't join that committee. Right, everybody ready, huh? All right. Having, moving on, Dawn, can do a roll call.
Yes, before I do that, Commissioner, can I just verify for the record who made the motion and seconded it?
Wendy and Lisa, seconded, Lisa.
Thank you very much. Jerry Abrahams.
Aye.
Cindy Butts. Wendy Clark.
Yes.
Phil DeFranzo.
Yes.
Heidi DeWeingart. Claudio Gualtieri.
Yes.
Timothy Hodges.
Aye.
Catherine McKinnon.
Yes.
Commissioner Mascaro Bruno.
Yes.
Commissioner Perez.
Yes.
Franklin Perry.
Yes.
Matt Puglisi.
Yes.
Chelsea Ross.
Yes.
Sarah Sanders.
Yes.
Lisa Tepper Bates.
Aye.
Greg Ugalde.
Aye.
The vote passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you, Hazim. And thank you to the committee for your budget. We don't have any questions. Mortgage Committee, Pat, you want to present the first resolution for the Northeast Hartford Affordable Housing Project?
Yes, good morning.
I've been relegated to the back corner. Essentially,
You didn't
the way we
behave, huh?
used to do it, right?
I think there's a seat.
Right.
Yeah, there is
You
a
want
city
to
here.
see?
I'll come up. I've got
Right.
stuff here. I'll do this and the other one and I'll come up for the retreat. At Tuesday's mortgage committee meeting, Kyle Walker presented a request to approve the funding of a first mortgage of up to $9,075,000 from tax exempt bond proceeds for the development of 3 scattered site projects in the north end of Hartford. The financing structure included a construction loan of approximately $5.75 million, interest only for 24 months at an interest rate not to exceed 5.93%, and a construction to perm loan of approximately $3,325,000 at a rate not to exceed 6.51%. That's interest only for 24 months and then fully amortizing over a 40-year term. The project will feature the redevelopment of 78 units in 9 buildings located across the 3 scattered sites. All 78 units will be restricted, with 17 units at or below 40% AMI, 21 at or below 50% AMI, 30 at or below 60% AMI, and 10 units at or below 80% AMI. 71 of the 78 units will receive project-based rental assistance. In addition to CHFA's loan proceeds, the financing structure includes LIHTC equity of $6.8 million, DOH Flex and Home funds totaling $5.2 million, $1.1 million in City of Hartford home funds, and a total of $2.8 million in assumed debt and a note from the developer. The members of the mortgage committee unanimously approved the request, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. I can have a motion to approve the resolution presented by.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions?
I just have one quick question, Pat. Under previous circumstances, the rental market has changed a lot. Under previous circumstances, we used to say that 80% of AMI rents were about market. Is that still the case, or?
In some areas, yes, and I would say in the north end of Hartford, it's about market. The great thing though is that's a cap now. So if the market does start to exceed those rent limits, they'll still be capped at that 80%.
Thank you.
What do you mean by 80% of AMI percentage of rental of that? I guess I didn't understand the question. No, I get that, but I'm saying if you're saying is it a percentage of the AMI is the market, the rental cap, or
They're
is
equal.
like 30% of the AMI or?
Yeah, so we'll just use some numbers. They're not exact numbers for this, but let's say let's say an 80% rent is $1,500. That means what Lisa's conveying is that if you go out into the market and just get an unrestricted rent, it's probably at $1,500.
Okay,
Restricted versus unrestricted.
I'm just wondering how that related to the AMI, like if it's, so if I'm saying AMI is 10,000 a month and 80% is 8,000, are you using that, the percentage of the rental of the AMI being, is it 2,400?
Well, it's, yes, that's very
Because
simply.
AMI is income, not rental.
Right. It's a calculation that HUD provides. It's very similar to that. There are some nuances by number of members of a household actually reduce it off the AMI. So the AMIs are based on a 4-person household.
Okay,
So as you move down to 3, 2, 1, they're reduced, I believe it's 10% off of that.
so the AMI has a correlation to what the gross rent should be. So is it a percentage of the AMI?
I would flip it. I would say the rent has a relation to the
Okay.
income.
Great, thank you.
Sure, and HUD publishes their calculations annually, usually like in June.
Any other comments or questions? Going on, Dawn, could you do the roll call, please?
Of course, and can I just confirm I have Greg as who made the motion, and I didn't catch.
Kathy.
Thank you, Kathy. Jerry Abrahams,
Aye.
Cindy Butts, Wendy Clark,
Yes.
Phil DeFranzo,
Yes.
Heidi DeWeingart, Claudio Gualtieri,
Yes.
Timothy Hodges,
Aye.
Catherine McKinnon,
Yes.
Commissioner Mosquero Bruno,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Franklin Perry,
Yes.
Matt Puglisi,
Yes.
Chelsea Ross,
Yes.
Sarah Sanders,
Yes.
Lisa Tepper Bates,
Yes.
Greg Ugalde.
Yes.
Vote passes unanimously.
Motion carries. Pat, do you want to present the next resolution regarding the reservation of local housing tax credit to several projects?
Yes. At Tuesday's mortgage committee, meeting, Joe Bocio, presented a request for the return and exchange of tax credits for 5, different properties. 340 Dixwell Avenue, New Haven was originally a 2021 allocation. They experienced some construction delays, mainly due to supply chain issues related to, mass timber and, exterior wall thermal insulation. Project's now 70% complete, but needs the additional time to meet its placed in service deadline. Cedar Point in Newington received a 2021 allocation, but experienced delays during construction related to supply chain issues also. While they will not be able to meet their placed in service deadline at the end of this year, the project has recently been connected to permanent power and is on track to receive their COs within the next few months. Hill Central Phase 1 in New Haven received a 2022 allocation, experienced similar issues with delivery of supplies and components. While the project still may be able to meet its placed in service deadline by the end of the year, we want to be in a position without a December board available to extend that deadline should any further delays be incurred. Veterans Terrace 3 in East Hartford received a 2022 allocation just prior to its scheduled closing in July. New prevailing wages were published and the result was a sizable gap. Staff worked with the developer to close that gap and they're now in a position to move to close. The delays incurred made it such that the project will not be able to meet its anticipated placed in service date, and therefore the developer requested an exchange. We expect the initial closing on this to now occur in January of 2025. And then lastly, Oakwoods Apartments in Terryville also received a 2022 allocation. The project was moving along towards closing in June, and the developer lost site control. Over the past several months, staff has worked with the developer as he was able to regain site control, and we were able to keep the financing structure in place. The project will close on its financing. The project is scheduled to close on its financing in the later part of January of 2025. As a result of the delays, the project is unable to meet its original placed in service date, and the requested exchange is required. The return, again, we've gone over this before. We've presented several of these returns and exchanges over the past couple of years. This does not adversely impact the amount of credits available for us. The credits will just be recycled. So I'll take any questions.
Thank you, Pat. Can I have a motion to approve the resolution? So, Kathy, thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you,
Matt.
Matt. Questions, Commissioner Barrett?
One of the reasons for the delay and giving more time was supply,
Mostly.
but then some other costs. Have you run into that with other projects or?
Yes, we've had to do returns and exchanges for other projects as well. It seems like we're over the hump of the supply chain issues that developers are now managing their projects. For instance, we had a long time where switchgear was a big problem. It was a 16-month lead time, and switchgear was typically ordered at the end of the project. That's to connect the electric to the project. Now they order switchgear up front. So where we had a bunch of return and exchanges that had to be done because of delays caused by switchgear, we're not realizing that anymore. These seem to be the last of the cleanup items, the 21s, 22s.
Okay, that's my point, is by now that the supply chain thing should have been worked out. If not,
They have.
you simply don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, we've seen adjustments in the market and the developers and contractors. will address it.
What does losing site control mean? I mean, I'm not a commercial person, so I don't even know what that.
It's pretty simple. He had it under contract for purchase. The contract expired. The seller didn't want to extend, and so he fell out of contract. So he know site control could.
You had an option.
He didn't, he ran out of options on it, but he was able to get it back under contract with the seller.
Yeah, for a small. Yeah, pay more money.
For a very small fee.
It just sounds really cool though when you use
Doesn't
that
sound-
terminology.
So we look for site control, we look for two methods, either ownership, so you own the site, or you have it under contract with an option to purchase it.
And we're lending on that with the potential risk of them expiring, what happens if,
No, it would happen, the transfer of title would happen at closing.
okay,
So site control just means.
But the
that-
risk is the project may go out of balance
got it,
because
Yeah.
it costs you more money.
all right.
I'm sorry, just one other question, not that you mean for you. What are the mechanics financially, how that works to take credits that would have expired and swap them out? What happens to the old?
Yeah, I know,
Credits.
it's sort of like black magic a little
Yeah.
bit, where you get to relabel the credits from 21 or 22 to 24. It doesn't affect your 24 ceiling. You just get to relabel them because the 9% have a 2-year expiration. It's something we have to do specifically, so it is,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
it's an administrative process.
So you just carry them forward in time and they.
That's it.
Yeah.
Change today basically is the same,
Yeah.
same credits.
And we take a lot of time thinking through these. We don't give them out without a lot of work with the developer to ensure that they're really needed.
We don't,
I
and,
mean, we
and
hold the cards for a long
and we
time.
did actually pull credits this year for somebody we didn't feel was going to, what hadn't made significant progress and would benefit from an exchange.
I want to see the units being put, being placed in service as soon as possible.
And 2 of these projects are almost 2 more months to be completed. So it's just the timing because they have to do permanent closing and syndication and all that kind of stuff.
And placed in
Also-
service means 1 unit has to be
Yeah.
placed in service.
One
So it's a very strict requirement for the code, so we just have to make sure we meet that.
And we are trying to take measures to ensure that when we allocate credits, they get deployed very quickly. So going forward, we're hoping not to see credits from 2 years ago not being properly used.
And in the case if you don't exchange them and you just pull them, they can be reused as well. There's
Yes.
no
Yeah,
issue there.
We
Okay.
use them in the next round or.
Okay.
Any other question? All right, hearing on, Dawn, could you do a roll call, please?
Yes. Jerry Abrahams,
Yes.
Cindy Butts, Wendy Clark,
Yes.
Phil DeFranzo,
Yes.
Heidi DeWeingart, Claudio Gualtieri,
Yes.
Timothy Hodges,
Aye.
Catherine McKinnon,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascaro Bruno,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Franklin Perry,
Yes.
Matt Puglisi,
Yes.
Chelsea Ross,
Yes.
Sarah Sanders,
Yes.
Lisa Tepper Bates,
Yes,
Greg Ugalde.
Aye.
The vote passes unanimously.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is Lisa Hensley. She's going to present a proposed amendment to the Authority Single Family Program procedures.
I stand as little as possible. Good morning. Good morning. Staff is recommending that the Board of Directors approve, wait a minute, which one am I doing? These the procedures, that's it. Yes, I'm sorry. Approval to adopt the amended CHFA single family procedures as presented at the September 26th board meeting to become effective December 1st, as no public comments were received after notice was published. Additionally, to authorize the publishing and notice for comments of proposed additional amendments as proposed and to adopt the resolution, providing that no comments are received, to be effective February 1st, 2025. So CHFA conducted a final review of the single family procedures and received feedback from our bond counsel. The feedback has resulted in some minor items as well as some items that warrant additional changes to further enhance the programs. A few of the more significant changes are to reinsert the language concerning the use of mortgage or income for eligibility purposes, modify the definition of family to include non-related persons, insert language to permit CHFA to determine the average price by other methods provided by the IRS, allow DAP to be used in conjunction with the new general homeownership program, which is not the first time homebuyer program, and then enable the teachers and police programs to also be used with the general homeownership program. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Can I have a motion to approve the resolution presented by Lisa?
Motion to approve?
Greg, can I have a second? Second. Thank you, Wendy. Any comments or questions?
So I'm just gonna ask this, for the size of the family, including unrelated persons, what's the
Purpose.
yeah,
Yes, so we might have unmarried couples
okay,
that are, that live together.
And they, they share their finances and everything, but they're not married.
Got it.
So it would allow that person to be counted as part of the household.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, Dawn, could you do the roll call, please?
Yes. Jerry Abrahams,
Yes.
Cindy Butts, Wendy Clark,
Yes.
Phil DeFranzo,
Yes.
Heidi DeWeingart, Claudio Gualtieri,
Yes.
Timothy Hodges,
Aye.
Catherine McKinnon,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascara Bruno,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Franklin Perry,
Yes.
Matt Puglisi,
Yes.
Chelsea Ross,
Yes.
Sarah Sanders,
Yes.
Lisa Tepper Bates,
Yes.
Greg Ugalde.
Yes.
The vote passes unanimously.
Thank you. Lisa, you wanna do the next resolution?
Yes. Staff is recommending that the Board of Directors approve an investment of $100,000 from the 2025 homeownership counseling budget to implement a pilot counseling program known as the Housing Opportunity Navigator Initiative, which we'll call HONEY. HONEY will facilitate greater housing choice for all Connecticut households through mobility navigation services offered by qualified housing counseling agencies, community action, and/or supportive housing agencies. Mobility navigation is defined as a service for any Connecticut individual household who wishes to move. Move is defined as a transition into another rental or a transition to homeownership, both of which can include use of a housing choice voucher. The goal of the program is to empower individuals and households with the knowledge and resources needed to transition to the housing of their choice. The navigators will provide a more holistic approach to get individuals to their goals with a focus on eliminating any barriers such as education, income, credit repair, etc. The need for housing is evident in Connecticut, however, housing choice is lacking, and the purpose is to help these individuals and families navigate their housing options. Some may not result in an actual move, but there are milestones that can be measured, such as improving their credit, helping them budget and save, referring them for job training, etc. There were questions in mortgage committee concerning the compensation of the counseling agencies and community-based organizations. These will be addressed as the program is finalized after consulting with these organizations. We do not expect the program to be in high demand at first and do not expect these agencies to have a need to increase staffing. The mortgage committee approved this action unanimously.
Thank you, Lisa. Can I have a motion to approve the resolution presented by Lisa?
So moved.
Second.
Who moved?
Chelsea.
Chelsea and Kathy seconded. Any questions? Comments?
How do they publicize this? How do you get? It's a great thing, but like, how are you getting it? Because there definitely is a need, but like, how do you get that out there to people? I was wondering, is
So
that part
one
of
of
it?
one of the questions that I posted, and I think the staff is gonna consider, is that is the $100,000 is great, but $100,000 is not much.
Yeah.
And like, if you get 10 organizations, 10,000 each, and they can use their staff. So what my suggestion was to staff is great addition to the housing counseling agents that they're already doing this work, so that they actually don't get compensated by helping people. Like, they go to their doors and they have people that are doing credit repairs and they can't collect anything, so they have to do fundraising. So this, I said, keep it contained, it's a pilot. Maybe it's with the housing counseling agencies that they already have a staff, they can just add a little bit of volume in, or get compensated for the work that they're doing,
Right.
and there is no compensation. So that was my recommendation for the staff, and not open it to everybody, because it's $100,000 doesn't. As you know, like.
Can I ask on that note, because that's very sensible, are they going to be asked to keep track of how many people express interest,
Yes,
right?
yes, they're gonna give reporting and tell us what the customers, who they are, what the barriers are and what the ultimate goal is, and then how they are doing with proceeding with this. And what we really like about this, and I know a lot of agencies do this anyway, is that they're going to continue to keep in touch with these customers on a monthly basis and really hold them accountable, because people get into this process and it's overwhelming. And then they say, never mind, I don't want to do this. It's too much, you know, and so they'll have someone to really guide them and help them through the process. It's like a one-on-one, this is my person and this person is going to help me the whole way.
Any other comment?
You know, just and it makes a lot of sense to just keep building up data on what the barriers are. And there's a lot of things out there that we're just finding out about, and this is just one more tool.
And also
And what
like
do you do with this?
with first generation home ownership too, like so many people doesn't have a family to lean on to understand the process of home ownership. So it's like, this is really cool.
And even when you have family, you can advise them. I
think I gave my daughter loan when I was there.
Any other comments? Dawn, could you do a roll call, please?
Yes. Jerry Abrahams,
Yes.
Cindy Butts, Wendy Clark,
Yes.
Phil DeFranzo,
Yes.
Heidi DeWeingart, Claudio Gualtieri,
Yes.
Timothy Hodges,
Aye.
Catherine McKinnon,
Yes.
Commissioner Mosquero Bruno,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Franklin Perry,
Yes.
Matt Puglisi,
Yes.
Chelsea Ross,
Yes.
Sarah Sanders,
Yes.
Lisa Tepper Bates,
Yes,
Greg Ugalde.
Yes.
The vote passes unanimously.
Motion carries, thank you. We have other items besides the finance and mortgage committee. And Terry, I don't, oh, it's right here. I was trying to find you. Terry is going to present the first resolution about appointment of board counsel and special counsel for multifamily closing. Go ahead, Terry.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. This is a resolution to appoint bond counsel and outside counsel. Our statutes and procedures require that we do this every 3 years. So it was 3 years ago that we did this last. And August of this year, we did put out an RFP for legal services. It was out for about 7 weeks. 8 firms submitted proposals for bond counsel, 10 for special counsel, 6 for multifamily closing counsel. We did reissue it for another 2 weeks and received 1 more response for special counsel. And we had a team that evaluated these proposals. It included myself, Azim, our Deputy General Counsel, Rob Hicks, Senior Counsel, Kristen Generous, and Shelley Mondo, who is our Contracts and Procurement Officer. And the factors that we looked at included experience, qualifications, presence in Connecticut, fees, and the firm's commitment to diversity. So we are making the following recommendations for co-bond counsel on the housing mortgage finance program bonds. The Hardwick Law Firm, Hawkins, Delafield and Wood, Lock Lord, Kutak Rock. For the special needs bonds and conduit bonds, we're recommending Robinson and Cole and Lewis and Monday. And for the housing revenue bonds program, it would be Kutak Rock. For special counsel, we're recommending Barclay Damon, Bernard Law Group, Brown Panders and Scott, Chiquetti, Tansley and McGrath, Halloran and Sage, Kutak Rock, Bertha Kalina, Pullman and Conley, Robinson and Cole, Shipman and Goodwin, and Updike, Kelly and Spellacy. And for the multifamily closing counsel, Cohen and Wolf, Halloran and Sage, Pullman and Conley, Updike, Kelly and Spellacy. Happy to take any questions.
And I have a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Any question?
Yes, Commissioner.
I heard you say you look at qualifications, price. And I'm not aware of any law firms under any sanctions at this point. But some of these law firms have been in the past, and that's okay. Once you pay your, you do your time, you're okay. But do you look at that?
We do, Commissioner,
Okay,
we have a
fine.
specific question asking if they.
I just want to be consistent,
Yes,
that I really do
absolutely,
believe,
we
should I
do.
be doing business with anybody who's,
We
It's not
check
okay
that.
with their
Yes,
regular-
Commissioner, we do, thank you.
even though it's unbelievably hard to get, the bar to sanction it.
Curious, how many people are new?
We have a new firm, Bernard Law Group. It's a
The Supreme
sole
Court says that,
practitioner, a woman minority law firm who has a lot of experience in the home ownership space and in compliance. And we did have a chance to meet with her and we think she'd be a great addition as backup.
Like if somebody loses control of ownership there, Phil, we can.
I'm sorry, it's also update Kellyanne's fallacy.
Okay,
Yes, I'm sorry.
a very quick question. How much change does this represent as opposed to continuity among the?
Not many, Lisa. One of the firms that had been on our list for a long time did not apply this year. It's Dave Pitney. So, and again, the two new firms would be Updike and Bernard Law Group. And one of the things we would like to do is joint closings with the Department of Housing. So two of the firms that are on DOH's list, Pullman Conley and Updike Kelly and Spellacy, we would look to those firms to do these joint closings because we're looking for efficiencies. So developers don't have to deal with two sets of lawyers, sometimes asking for the same things. And we hope to roll this out early in 2025. I know the commissioner and Nandini are very anxious to do that.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that will really give some efficiencies because we will be limited both in financing, but also if one lawyer already has a project, they can continue on into the closing instead of having another set of lawyers getting to learn the program to close, and it takes so long. So
Hopefully also savings.
and
Yes.
so yes.
I would have bet on that.
Well, we're gonna contain it. A lawyer, yeah.
One exception that I go with that, but
Thank you.
But having one closing checklist?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, so we're working on, the staff is working on the
That's a
checklist,
great idea.
and DOH. Also eliminating a couple of things that for many, many years have been there, and it really doesn't make much difference in the transaction.
Right.
So, it's very exciting that the staff have been working really hard and being mindful of what things are appropriate and what other thing has been there and just been added to a list, so.
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
The first one is the RFP was reissued in
Yeah.
October.
Yeah.
What was the reason for that?
Wendy, one of the firms was 2 hours late. They had been on our list since 1999, so we wanted to cast a wide net. Give them and any other firm the chance to submit a proposal. We think that helps us.
I don't have a problem catching it like that. I have a problem.
Don't look like for 10 o'clock.
Wendy, you said you have a couple of questions.
Yeah, the next one is, for those programs where you have a larger roster of firms, how do you decide which firm to use? What factors do you look at? And this is separate and apart from the efficiency question you just responded to.
Right, which firms we've chosen, Wendy, or which?
So like for section 2, looking at resolution, you have maybe 10, 12,
Yeah.
12 firms
How
here.
do you decide which
Yeah,
firm?
if something, a project comes up, how do you decide to call
Great
Barkley
question.
versus
Mhm.
Pullman or Robinson?
That's a great question. We do most of the work in-house, so we do not rely honestly on a lot of the firms. But North Carolina has been our employment firm for many years, so we have relied on them. Sometimes if there's a conflict, we would go to another firm. But as I said, most of the work we do in-house, so it's really rare that we go to the outside firms, but they're there if we need them.
Yeah.
Sometimes if we have a conflict, I've had to call many of the firms on the list to find someone who doesn't have a conflict, but.
I'll tell you where my question is coming
Sure,
from.
of course.
It's nice to see firms who have attorneys who are partners, for example, who get credit for this kind of work. It's nice to see them on the list. We also need to ensure that they actually do get work and that the work doesn't go to just maybe 2 or 3 firms that have traditionally gotten work from CHFA or DOH.
That's
So I just like to
feedback, and I
underscore that
will,
point.
we will keep that in mind.
We spread the wealth.
We will do that.
Commissioner, question?
No, I mean, I was just making a comment. I mean, I have no problem with us extending deadlines to get a bigger net. But if we're doing it because somebody was late, well, that's on them. I mean, we should not reward that behavior. If you ever figure out, I don't like rewarding that behavior. You know, that's just a statement. I mean, that's on them. They know the process. But also, don't you rotate this list to some extent, unless that's a specialty you're looking for? But the attorneys go back to the point that my colleague was making.
Yes, I mean, as I said, we have a great in-house legal staff.
I understand that, but once you have to go outside,
Yes.
I mean, unless you're looking for a specific specialty, don't you rotate them? Well, at least we used to.
We try to spread it around to the extent that we can, and we're gonna keep that in mind for the next 3 years. We will use different firms depending on what we have. So yes.
So basically, those are there for options, right? Like if you
Yes,
can't figure
right.
something out, you have a
Right,
list of folks, so I mean, understand the point, but, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I think the point is, how do you make sure that even when you go out, you have a process of using everyone in the list, not just one particular, firm? So maybe something that you guys can take a look at.
We can,
And then we
look
can
at starting
report
with-
back and
right,
maybe next year give us a,
right.
an update on that. Sure.
Yes.
Well, I'm hearing you say you don't really go out that
We don't have a lot. We don't have a lot. That's the reality.
Like, how many times a year do you go out?
No, we have.
We actually
Okay,
awarded
let's keep one conversation.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, no, sorry.
So we do RFP for financial advisors. There are very few firms that do this housing finance, financial advisory services. And so in the last couple of years, we have chosen a couple of different firms to work with on the quantitative and financial advisory side.
What was the question?
Can we do that on the financial advisory side as well?
Oh, yeah, it's written in the statute that we have to go out every 3 years.
And we do
And
use
we
different firms.
do rotate, yeah.
No, my point was achieving diversity in not only selection, but also who gets the work
Right,
once
the
they are
use.
selected.
Correct.
That they're actually used.
Your question's a good one. Your
So,
question's
We
a
have
good
that in
one.
our banking, in our
Yeah,
underwriting.
for finance, yeah, that's what we do.
Okay, Sarah, you were.
Well, I was hearing Terry saying that for the most part, you don't even go outside, but so just give us a sense, how often do you go out? You have this long list of firms, how often do you actually?
We go up for employment counsel, but even that, I mean, we don't have any litigation. That's typically what drives up fees. So I would estimate our average fee for employment is like 3,000 a month. It's not a lot.
So there's not a lot of business.
There's not a lot of
firms.
business. That's the point. I mean, I think there will be with the multifamily closing council. With the build for CT, we've sent a lot of that to outside firms and we will continue to do that. But typically in the past, at least since I've been here, we have managed the majority, of course, other than bond counsel, in-house.
So the bigger roles are a bond
The
counsel.
bond counsel.
That's where you
is the
spend most
biggest
of your
outside.
time,
But for special counsel, there's really not a lot of work
Right.
because, again, our in-house staff is very talented, very diverse. We have a very deep bench. And I think I credit them with the fact that we have been able to do most of the work in-house other than bond counsel. And of course, if we had litigation, we would send that out, but we don't have any litigation.
So Terry gets the bonus.
Greg and then Matt, right? And then the.
I was just gonna say, it's still a feather in all these firms' caps to be able to say that they're part of this and they have these approvals.
Right.
But yeah, there's very few deals that make it out.
Greg, Matt.
With usually doing a lot with in-house counsel. If you're closing with DOH, is that a change? Are you now moving things from in-house counsel to outside counsel just so that you can get that efficiency with DOH in
That's
closing?
a great question. Yes, the answer to that is yes, but there's still lots of work to do. These would be transactions where there's DOH funding as well as CHFA funding, but we do have some transactions where it's just CHFA funding, so we might keep those in-house.
Okay.
So we'll see. We also have the bill for CT closings. We have done some of those in-house as well. So it just gives us options. But we are able to close all these deals in-house in terms of our skill set and our staffing.
Commissioner.
I want to go back to the financial advisor. I'm talking about the one that advises us on the point sale.
Yes.
I thought there's only one.
Yeah.
We go back to,
Okay,
we
it's
go
right
back,
here.
right, that's what I'm saying, so there's no rotation. I want to make sure I
So
understood
there's
it
a
correctly.
rotation there, but I know we've recently.
We go out to
switched-
bid,
we've switched from- yeah.
because I remember last time,
Right.
we didn't show us the lowest bidder and I voted against it, but my understanding was there's only one, and then we do put it out to bid. I don't remember how.
So make sure that the statement is accurate. Under the municipal advisory rules for our bonds, we have two. One is to advise us on the structuring and the pricing. So we do have Tom King here, representing King Bidder. We also have another financial advisor who does all the quantitative analysis and the cash flow, and that's CFX. So they are also
Okay, so
a
maybe first my
financial,
question.
yes,
But we put it out to bid and we only have one of each.
correct. And then,
It's not like we
yes,
have a list,
correct,
until we put it out to bid again.
yes.
Right, so it's not like we have a list like with the lawyers, that's what I want to make sure.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, I want to make sure I understood it, because he said we rotate, he said we rotate the financial advisors to say, well, when, we've only got one of each.
All right, any other comments or questions? Dawn, could you please do a roll call?
Of course, and I'm sorry again for the,
Yeah, I made the motion.
You did, okay, thank you.
I don't know the second.
Commissioner, make a motion, Matt, second it.
Matt second. Thank you very much. Jerry Abrahams,
Yes.
Cindy Butts, Wendy Clark,
Yes.
Phil DeFranzo,
Yes.
Heidi DeWeingart, Claudio Gualtieri,
Yes.
Timothy Hodges,
Aye.
Catherine McKinnon,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascaro Bruno,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Franklin Perry,
Yes.
Matt Puglisi,
Yes.
Chelsea Ross,
Yes.
Sarah Sanders,
Yes.
Lisa Tepper Bates,
Aye.
Greg Ugalde.
Aye.
The vote passes unanimously.
Thank you, Dawn, thank you, Terry, motion carries. Hazin, you're gonna present the next resolution, the MOA with DOH?
Yes, the following resolution is to permit CHFA to extend the existing MOA with DOH and continue to pay the related expenses from its 2025 general and administrative budget by up to 1 year. Last year, the board approved an extension that requires CHFA to provide financial support to DOH for 3 durational employees related to the coordinated access network. For 2025, and similar to last year, DOH has committed $300,000 to offset a portion of the program expenses, and such amount was incorporated in the recent budget. I'll be happy to answer any question. Resolution.
Have a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved, Chelsea.
Second, Lisa. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, Dawn, could you do a roll call, please?
Yes. Jerry Abrahams,
Aye.
Cindy Butts, Wendy Clark,
Yes.
Phil DeFranzo,
Yes.
Heidi DeWeingart, Claudio Gualtieri,
Yes.
Timothy Hodges,
Aye.
Catherine McKinnon,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascaro Bruno,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Franklin Perry,
Yes.
Matt Puglisi,
Yes.
Chelsea Ross,
Yes.
Sarah Sanders,
Yes.
Lisa Tepper Bates,
Yes.
Greg Ugalde.
Yes.
The vote passes unanimously.
Motion carries. Thank you, Dawn. The next resolution is the election as the vice chairperson of the board of directors. I have asked our current vice chair if she would like to continue. Heidi, And she agreed to continue, so I would like to, make the recommendation.
She's not here.
I know. She's working hard.
Congratulations, I don't hear.
So I can have a motion.
Motion to approve?
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? John, please do a roll call.
Yes. Can I confirm, please, that Greg made the motion and was Wendy, was that you for the second?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Jerry Abrahams,
Yes.
Cindy Butts, Wendy Clark,
Yes.
Phil DeFranco,
Yes.
Heidi DeWeingart, Claudio Gualtieri,
Yes.
Timothy Hodges.
I guess.
Protest.
So if anybody else wants that, so.
Unless you want it. The volunteers.
You don't vote for it, you end up with it.
Go ahead, Dawn.
Thank
It's only I'm interrupting.
No problem. Catherine McKinnon,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascaro Bruno,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Franklin Perry,
Yes.
Matt Puglisi,
Yes.
Chelsea Ross,
Yes.
Sarah Sanders,
Yes.
Lisa Tepper Bates,
Yes.
Greg Agalde.
Aye.
The vote passes unanimously.
Thank you, Dawn. Motion carries. The next resolution is the presentation of the calendar year, the schedule for our meetings for calendar year 2025. Does that include that we want to make it in-person meetings?
No.
Wow, Dawn's-
We're silent on that subject, so you could,
I mean, the people that have health issues and depending how COVID is, I'm not gonna come to some of those meetings. When I'm asthmatic, diabetic. And depending how COVID is, I'm not coming because I'm not required and no other employees required.
How come?
Union, see the union.
No, it's just what the government agreed to do.
so just, I just want to point out a couple things here. So, the board meetings are generally on the last Thursday of the month, with with the exception of months where there's 5 Thursdays and it's the 5th Thursday, it's still the last. The mortgage committee is virtual and it's held Tuesday before, with the exception of May where, because it's the day after Memorial Day, we're doing it on Wednesday. We've also inserted QAP task force meetings because we are going to be reviewing the QAP for its, biannual, review, and we're hoping to have meetings where we've selected a time. If it doesn't work for folks, we can certainly make a change, but we've inserted noon on the Tuesdays the mortgage committee is held. We will ask for board members participation in the QAP task force meeting. And based on that, we'll send out the invites for next year. But we expect to start them in February and we go through June.
Any reason why we started in February instead of January?
Just to give us a little time to catch our breath. Yeah, no, I think I think January may be a time for us to convene some roundtables, start to look at the draft. Get our house in order a little bit, and then having it before the mortgage committee, the full board allows us to provide an update to the board after the task force meeting. We were finding the last time when we did this after board that we were kind of delayed in providing that update. We have to wait. So
I would like to move it to January just because February is going to be really, really busy for many of us.
Okay.
Session, and if, because it's the at least January, the beginning of January, that's a session that we still don't have to go and do, public meetings. So.
I mean, as long as you're okay with the fact that we may not have a draft ready, we may have conversations.
Yes, that would be fine, even to outline the whole kind of process.
Sure.
Could I also propose that it might be worthwhile to schedule a longer first meeting to actually review where we are and how we're looking forward? Because an hour is very efficient, but it might be a couple hours to really set the stage.
Sure. So my recommendation would be then to have a January meeting that is a special meeting. And we could schedule that at any time before public notice requirement. That way we don't have to change the schedule.
Okay.
We can just add the January meeting and make it as long as we wanted to, and we can create a meeting time and a date that works for everybody that wants to do the task force. So that work for you? That works for me.
I'm only asking is that you give us as much notice as possible,
Absolutely.
because your
Sounds-
schedule's good.
It's gonna be.
Would it be possible to get sort of an analysis of how the last QAP sort of changed the prior, types of projects? Absolutely, okay, we can do that. I can tell you the numbers of moving to the Connecticut Opportunity Map has created significant, at least in the last round. I don't know if this is accidental or we're not sure yet. We haven't seen a trend, but we've seen 5 out of 6 developments that were funded in the last round were in high opportunity.
Very high.
So
5 were in
I
very high.
don't know if that's something that's gonna continue, because again, based on what the availability of land is, how far along somebody is in their financing structure. All of those variables that we don't necessarily control, you get applications in, so.
Yeah, I think that we would like to compare the production of the last 2 years versus the 2 years previous.
Yeah.
On the point
Types of-
systems,
Yeah, that.
so that we see the difference of what.
We can look at that difference, right?
All right, any other comments on the calendar schedule? Okay. Did we do the motion in the second?
No.
No,
We do not, no.
we started the conversation. I can have a motion to approve the calendar.
Move. Second.
Lisa, Dawn, you heard Lisa and Tim seconded.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Dawn, could you do a roll call, please?
Yes. Jerry Abrahams,
Yes.
Cindy Butts, Wendy Clark,
Yes.
Phil DeFranco,
Yes.
Heidi DeWeingart, Claudio Gualtieri, Timothy Hodges,
Aye.
Catherine McKinnon,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascara Bruno,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Franklin Perry,
Yes.
Matt Puglisi,
Yes.
Chelsea Ross,
Yes.
Sarah Sanders,
Yes.
Lisa Tepper Bates,
Yes.
Greg Ugalde.
Yes.
The vote passes unanimously.
Motion carries, thank you, Dawn. The consent agenda, can I have a motion to move the consent agenda?
Move. Tim.
Tim, second.
Second.
Lisa seconded. Do the roll call,
Jerry Abrahams.
Dawn.
Yes,
Aye.
thank you. Jerry Abrahams,
Aye.
Cindy Butts, Wendy Clark,
Yes.
Phil DeFranco,
Yes.
Heidi DeWeingart, Claudio Gualtieri, Timothy Hodges,
Aye.
Catherine McKinnon,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascara Bruno,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Franklin Perry,
Yes.
Matt Puglisi,
Yes.
Chelsea Ross,
Yes.
Sarah Sanders,
Yes.
Lisa Tepper Bates,
Yes.
Greg Ugalde.
Aye.
The vote passes unanimously.
Thank you, motion carries. Before we adjourn the meeting, anyone that wants to volunteer for the QAP committee, and if you should change your mind, besides the one that raised their hand. If anyone changed their mind after, please email also to Anthony. Motion to adjourn the meeting. Oh, anybody has any comments or questions? Great.
Just really quickly,
Yes.
and I know that we're at time, but I felt important. Earlier on, you said, we give you a lot of support in terms of what you're doing. I want to make sure I say this. You guys have done an incredible job. I can say, I've been on this board for a while. But the work that you're doing, the way that you're publicizing it on LinkedIn and other places, the shows that you're on, I just believe that the staff, you guys are doing an incredible job. So I just want to, commend you on the work that you're doing, and I hope that we can continue to support you. I will ask you, as you go into next year, again, think about ways the board can be more supportive, and be a part of what you're doing. But I just want to make sure I acknowledge that you guys, I think, are doing really an incredible job, so
Thank you. Thank you, Tim. Much appreciated. Any other comments? Right?
Past governor Jody Rao passed away today. She it just announced it, yeah.
Anybody else? So I just want to say to all the board members that I'm thankful for your participation, for your knowledge, your contribution. It really makes a difference to do the work that we do. And to the staff, both the Department of Housing and CHFA that have been working really hard in making sure that we respond to this crisis. I know we have to do a lot more, but looking forward to continue the work with all of you, because it really makes the difference when we have the support from all the board members. And the questions are welcome because that make us better. Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Moved, Tim.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No.
So we're gonna stay here in this room
Okay.
for the retreat, start.